And then the only other thing that I wanted to report is that we will be having an additional ranger position. Right now, as you know, we've got Bill Brooks, who is part-time patrolling Estabrook and Punk in response to the judge's requirements that the town make sure that the rules and regulations are enforced. He is going to be expanding his hours over the summer, so he'll be a full-time. But we're also going to hire a seasonal employee to also monitor other conservation lands, White Pond in particular, to make sure that rules and regulations there are being enforced and you know, people are behaving as we want them to in conservation lands. That's it for me.
Okay, thanks, Delia. All right, I think we've got a number of continuances. I think there's 3 different buckets here. One continuing to May 5th, a couple open and continue, and then just a continuation of a couple, and then one, I believe, continuing out to May 19th. So would someone want to take those on?
I'll start, but I don't have every one of them. I didn't print out the new agenda, which I guess had a couple that are continued.
Yeah.
We heard tonight. So somebody jump in on those. But I make a motion to continue to May 5, DEP file number 1371558 and DEP file number 1371559 and DEP file number 1371504.
I think, Greg, I think the 1558 is going out to the 19th. That's what reads on my agenda.
All right, that's the one that went on. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
Mine, it says the 5th.
Yeah. We had a number of agendas going. So I think it's 559 and 1504 that go out to May 5th. Yeah.
I edit my motion as the chair pointed out.
Now I have four files that are being continued, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're doing it by date. I was doing it by date, that's all.
I see.
Yeah. All right. Do I have a second on those two, 559 and 1504?
Second.
Okay. Take the vote. Nick?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
And Sarah?
Aye.
Okay. If I could have a continuance for the 1561, which is to be opened and continued until May 5th.
I move that we open and continue to May 5th without discussion. Notice of intent for 455 Bedford Street, DEP file 1371561.
Second.
All right. Judy?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And Greg?
Aye. And I make a motion
And
to
Greg?
continue. I make a
And I
motion
am an aye as
to
well.
continue to the 19th. We have to do that one, yes?
Yes. Yep.
Make a motion to continue DEP file number 1371558 to the 19th of May.
Second.
All right. Greg?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Thank you, guys. All right, we have our one continuance this evening. Notice of intent, 367 Cambridge Turnpike, DEP file number 137-1555. So who'll be presenting this evening for the applicant?
Hi, Kyle Cormier with Oxbow Associates, and I'm also joined by the applicant and the project engineer.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi. So the way we left it off at the last meeting was the applicant wanted to retain some of the existing yard within the 25-foot buffer. And also proposed a invasive management plan, but we did not have that ready during the last meeting. But we have come up with a plan. So we're proposing 5,203 square feet in area 4 on the plan, which is primarily Asiatic bittersweet. We're going to use the cut and dab method for controlling the invasives in that area, and we'll also target any other invasives that occurred besides just the Asiatic bittersweet. And for that, we are proposing to retain approximately 1,175 square feet of yard, with the setbacks being 10 feet at the rear with a pheno marker, and then increasing to 20 feet further south, and then 25 feet closest to the driveway area there. Then any areas that are treated within the restoration areas are going to be seeded if devoid of vegetation, and also planted with shrubs where applicable, most likely high bush blueberry. Is there any questions?
And this is a bit of a two-step process, right? In other words, after the first year, depending on what may grow back, or if you need some infill, you might continue to plant some more shrubs.
Right, we
Yeah.
proposed monitoring after a year and
Yeah.
see what the status is of that area.
Okay. Any comments from the commissioners? Okay, pretty straight away. Anyone in the public have any comment? All right, hearing none. I believe we have a motion on this.
I'll move it. I
Nick?
move that we close and issue an order of conditions for DEP file number 1371555 with findings A, B, and C, standard conditions 1 through 19, and special conditions 20 through 61.
Second,
Thank you, Greg. And the vote. Nick,
Aye.
Greg,
aye.
Judy,
Aye.
and Sarah?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Thank you, Kyle.
Great, thank you.
Okay, best of luck.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got the first of the new applications this evening. This is a RDA, a number of addresses along Strawberry Hill, 782 to 790, RDA file number 21-5. Who's here this evening to discuss this?
Paul Dusnap, Mr. Chairman.
Hi, Paul.
Dusnap Engineering. How are you?
Very good.
So we're here tonight with the RDA for Comcast to repair some underground damaged conduit on Bateman's Ridge off Strawberry Hill Road. It is, there's damaged cable, as you see on the sketch in front of us here, running from the utility pole, existing pole on Strawberry Hill Road, running up along Bateman's Ridge, the private way, which is paved, but we're just off the grass shoulder of the pavement where electric's running, I believe telephone also, and Comcast. The damaged conduit is running from that utility pole approximately 760 feet all the way up to where there's a cluster of electric transformers in a Comcast pedestal. At the moment, Comcast has running overland from the pole to the furthest pedestal where the transformer is, the electric transformer. That's running overground just to keep everybody up and running. So they'd like to get in there, replace that conduit, put a new 4-inch conduit in the ground. And at the end of the work, we move the overland wire, of course. And then at the buffer zone areas, place a line of straw wattles. There's 2 areas, as you can see on the sketch here, one being just off Strawberry Hill Lane, running up Bateman's Ridge. And the second little wetlands there would be another line of straw wattles up in that area. I think I could open it for questions. There is the 25-foot no disturb zone up at the second wetland area that is unavoidable to go through. Like I say, the electric and everything's running through there. We would have the straw wattles and so forth running right behind this area there. And obviously, I do have a waiver request in the submittal package asking for a waiver that, we're not altering the grading in that area or anything. We're just, again, replacing the conduit within that area to get everybody up and running.
Sure.
So with that, Mr. Chairman, I will take any questions that the commission may have.
Thanks, Paul. Paul, I actually just have one question. Is, how does a underground conduit like that get damaged? Is it from trucks running over it and it's shallow in its burial, or?
It
Just
could have been
curiosity.
that. I know Dave Llewellyn from Comcast is on the line. I think they might have rotted it. I'm not sure where the damage is, where it occurred in that area, but it could have been a truck going off the roadway short.
Yeah, okay. Just curious.
Yeah,
Looks like pretty straight away, just kind of replacement in kind.
correct.
So, yeah. Any comments, observations from the commission? No, okay. Any public comment on this?
I have one.
Yes, please. Could you-
Carlin Reed, 83 Wits End.
Hey.
Could you tell me what kind of services are being run over the Comcast line that's been damaged there, please?
I believe it's all TV, internet, and security, and all the services they offer.
So it's coax, Cable?
If
not
Dave,
fiber?
Dave, can you jump in on that?
Yeah, I can jump in. This is Dave Llewellyn, Comcast. It's a coaxial cable. It was originally put in direct buried, so there is no conduit there. That's how, we basically did things back in the day. They just direct buried it. It'll now be replaced with a conduit. So if there is a failure down the road, we'll be able to just pull a new cable through there, and there would be no further excavations in that area.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Colin. Any other questions from the public? Okay.
I have one question.
Sure, Greg.
Do you run a black conduit just in case you need it in the future for something that might? I think Carlin raises a question about. I guess you're running coax through this one, but if with inventions that happen, you might want to run fiber or something else. Is it prudent to run two conduits so that you have a spare?
No, this conduit, the 3-inch conduit, will be plenty of room to pull another cable down the road if needed, whether it be fiber optic or another coaxial cable. There'll be plenty of room in that conduit to pull that cable.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, with that, I believe we have a motion.
I make a motion to issue a negative determination, numbers 3 with following condition. 1, a pre-construction site visit shall be held with Department of Natural Resources staff and the contractor to review the erosion controls, stake straw wattles, and limits of work. 2, disturbed areas shall be loamed, seeded, and mulched with weed-free straw following construction. Any landscape plantings removed or damaged by the proposed work shall be replaced with native plantings, and the following completion of the project, the applicant will submit a letter to the NRC confirming that all work was conducted in accordance with the approved plan. Any changes shall be described.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Judy. And we'll take the vote. Greg?
Aye.
Nick? Judy?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Commission, have a great night.
Yep, you too. All right, let's see. Another new application, 123 Farmers Cliff Road, RDA, file number 21-6. And who's here to discuss this evening?
Jane Rupley, 162 Westford Road, Jane Rupley Landscape Design, and I'm representing Ann and Ross Perry,
Hi, Jane.
residents
Thank you.
of that property.
Jane, I just want to apologize. This graphic does not show up terribly well, but I can also pull up the this plan here if you just let me know which one you would like to speak to.
Well, this plan is the web GIS, base plan. And then I think the plan that shows what we're proposing what is the better plan, if you could bring that up. But this shows, the pond, which is wet year round.
Sorry. There you go. Can you see that?
Darken that at all or no?
You know, I apologize because I had a little computer snafu that required a lot of upgrades, and this is as dark as I'm able to get it right now. I'll continue trying to work on it, but I don't,
Okay.
if anybody has suggestions on
Julia,
how
if
to
you
darken it.
magnify it, if you magnify the areas that are being discussed, it begins
There
to,
you go.
the clarity
Good.
gets much better.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, if you make it smaller again, I'll just sort of,
Okay.
okay, so that when you, this is a flip of that first web GIS plan. The pond is on your right over, can you see my, yeah, the
Yeah.
pond's there.
Mhm.
And that's wet year round. The garage is down at the bottom. The driveway and the garage is down at the bottom. And there's a path that leads to the house, which is up here at the top. So right now, this whole area, except for these, the crabapple and viburnum down here, is lawn, is all lawn. This is the whole area in between is lawn, including this area here on the right. where you
Jane,
see-
we can't see your mouse.
How can
I
you
can.
see my mouse?
I can.
I think Delia's pointing that out, right?
Oh, it's Delia's
Delia's the
mouse.
mouse.
Okay.
Okay, so how do I just click on the mouse?
No,
How do I-
maybe if you could describe it and Delia she can do
Okay,
it.
so
best to kind of-
Delia,
You know
Follow
what,
you
Jane,
just
I'm gonna
quickly.
make you a co-host
Yeah,
and then you
just let
can
her
share.
do it.
But then, so just, I'll show people as you talk, because
yeah. I
then
think
you'll have to
that's-
pull the graphic up, so.
Yeah.
So if you go on the right side here, you see the two white pines, the two dark dots. Down below that to the right is the pond.
Mhm.
Yes.
And in front of the pond are existing where you are now. See the existing fern. And then above the fern, all above the fern where I have the plantings above it, that's grass also now. That's all grass. And then to the left, the bed to the left, where you see, yep, there, that's all grass. And the bed to the bottom, lower bed is all grass, except for where you see VIB and CRB, that's a crabapple, and existing viburnum. And so anything that has that dark circle dot, those are there. That's the plant material that's already there, existing. So we're trying to remove, have less grass and create an environment for native plantings and birds and butterflies and hummingbirds and insects, and just make it less desert-like for them by adding perennials, native perennials, shrubs, and a couple of trees, new trees. Everything's native primarily for the most part. Up in here too, where you see 5 and 6, that's all grass right now. To the left of the WP, that's all grass. So I think it's approximately 2,500 square feet of lawn that would be turned into planting beds. We need to remove some pine stump grindings, which is close to in there, yeah, right, in there. There's a large pile there right now. So that would go, we'd bring in some nice composted loam, remove the grass, and plant. That is what we're gonna do. Then there are also some rocks that are existing in the beds now. If you go to that middle bed where we'd like to add a few more rocks in there, and down there, a couple more rocks also. So that was another thing. And then the only other thing would be to place the bench at the end of this path on the right. Just to put a couple of field stones in front of it and have a place to sit, because that's always a good thing in a garden. So, but you'd walk in through this garden, that these round millstones, as you come in, those are already there. So right now you're basically just walking through the grass, the lawn, but now you'll be walking through the planting bed, and it'll be much more interesting. The lights are already there. The path lights are already there, but they look like suns, the little dark spots with the rays going out. I've already spoken with Delia. We're not going to add Vinca where it says on the lower, in front of the pier. So we're going to add a native ground cover Waldsteinia in there, because it will, there's grass there now, and we'll just remove about a 3-foot strip in front of the Andromeda where that cherry's reaching over there. I think that's about it, unless Ann and Ross can think of anything else that I've left out.
Thank you, Jane.
Any questions to the?
Looks like a fantastic project.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
I had a question about the Vinca. I was a bit confused. Was it just on the plan, and you're going to replace it on the plan, or is there actually Vinca in the ground now?
There's Vinca existing now. It's, if Delia brings that up, you can see there's a dash line where it's existing.
Yeah, don't worry.
It's not. It's
Okay.
See where it's hard. You'd have to blow it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about where it is. I just really. I really wanted to ask Delia how to get rid of it, because I've got a load in my garden I want to get rid of.
Yeah, it's we've already chatted about it. So
and I'm constantly ripping it out of my garden.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's a straightforward rip
It's
out.
aggressive.
There's no special treatment for anything. Okay, I'll just keep ripping it out of mine then.
Keep yanking. Okay, any comments on the commission side?
No.
Okay. Any comments from the public? Okay, hearing none, I think we have a recommendation.
I make a motion to issue a negative determination number 3 with conditions 1, a stake and straw wattle.
Whoops.
Has he frozen?
Yeah, I think, hey, Greg, you might have frozen up.
You want me to go ahead and do it, Ed?
Sure, go ahead, Judy.
Okay. I make a motion to issue a negative determination number 3 with conditions number 1, a staked straw wattle shall be placed at the pond edge. Number 2, a pre-construction site visit shall be held with DNI staff and the contractor to review the erosion controls and limits of work. Number 3, stockpiling shall occur outside the 100-foot buffer zone. And number 4, the project has been completed. The applicant shall submit a letter to the NIC stating that all work has been conducted in accordance with all conditions of the determination of applicability. Any changes from the RDA shall be described.
Second.
Thank you, Nick. And the vote. Sarah?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well, and hopefully we'll get Greg back soon. Okay, well, thank you, Jane,
Okay,
and
thank you.
good luck with the project.
Thank you.
All right, so we're on to, I think that's the last of the hearings. Now there's an extension request. Who will be talking about that this evening? This is 209 and 29A Musterfield Road, DEP file number 137-1450.
Well, I guess it's my turn. My name is Larry Beals with Beals Associates, and we have filed a request for an extension of the ORAD. It was issued in 2018, and It was a fairly lengthy process. Delia has the plan up showing the existing conditions. And this is a property that is located on lots known as 209 and 29A on Musterfield Road in Concord. It's a residential neighborhood. And the site to the left of the plan is the north direction. So it has frontage on Musterfield Road. I'm sorry, Delia, I said the left, but I meant the right. So plan right is north, plan left is east. Some of the major features are Musterfield Road, where the frontage is. You see something labeled as Springbrook Road along the eastern property line. That's a ancient road that is overgrown. It's not paved. And in order to upgrade that road, it would be a very complicated permit process if it's even possible. So that has been discounted as not being a public way. The property is what's outlined in the bold black dots and dashed line around the perimeter. So the northern end of the property has some frontage on Musterfield Road. There is an existing house on the property. This was all one lot originally, and part of this process was to subdivide it into two lots. First step was the Conservation Commission. And so our office went out and mapped the wetlands, and the bordering vegetated wetlands are shown in the darker green. And Delia's tracing the boundary right now. It has that odd sort of hook in it right where she is right now, because to the center of that is a pond. And I imagine that was excavated at one point because it's about the width of what a backhoe could extend to excavate that pond. So the contractor probably worked his way around the pond and dug out the sand and gravel that was originally there and created the pond. And then the wetland boundary continues to the west. And it's a pretty interesting system. It goes from a wooded area where the cursor is right now on the west to an open meadow bordering the pond. And then eventually it transitions back into a forested area where the cursor is right now. So it's a wide variety. A big chunk of this wetland is a meadow. And to some extent, we relied on vegetation, but to a great extent, we relied on a soil analysis, looking for hydric soils versus upland soils, low chroma versus high chroma. And we established the boundary where we believed it was. Delia reviewed it in the field with us at one point, and we made adjustments based on some of her comments and suggestions. And then ultimately, a lot of people always are concerned about, was it mapped accurately? So the town engaged a peer reviewer, David Pickard, who is a very competent, capable wetland scientist. And David reviewed the line as well. And so the line that you see on this plan, this is the final iteration of the plan. It's what was approved by the Conservation Commission in November of 2018. Since that time, the property has been actively marketed, and the lot containing the existing house has been sold. And so there's a new owner of that property. The one remaining lot is the western lot, and that's what's known as a hammerhead lot. It has more than 5 acres. It has at least 50 feet of frontage. That neck that goes down to it is at least 50 feet wide. And I think we had a circle of about 200 or 300 feet within the buildable area of the site, whatever the requirement is. So that has been marketed. And my understanding at the present time is that the owner of the lot that has the house, that formerly had the house on it, is interested and is discussing purchasing that second lot, primarily to create a buffer around the lot that they purchased. The issue that we're trying to deal with on this extension is that this transaction is structured so that the final closing would be after the expiration of the current ORAD. And everybody agrees that, if for whatever reason that fell through, it would be a shame to lose the ORAD. And I think both the buyer and the seller are interested in extending it. So Delia also asked that we reestablish the wetland boundary. A lot of it's in a field, so the flags got mowed, and we recovered a lot of the flags in the brushy areas that were tied to trees. But the flags that were actually in the field were missing. Fortunately, on that ORAD plan, every flag had been located by field survey. So we engaged the surveyor to go back out and reestablish the line. My understanding is that the NRC staff has reviewed that boundary and does not believe that the wetlands have moved one way or the other. If they got smaller, they probably wouldn't tell me, but I don't think they've gotten bigger either. So, and Delia can speak to that directly. I don't want to speak for her. So that's about all I have to say. I can answer any questions that you have, but I think you've probably heard more than you care to.
Yeah, well, thank you, Larry. It makes perfect sense with the transaction imminent. So, any comments from the commission? No. Okay. Any comments from the public? All right. Could I have a recommendation?
Make a motion that we continue the DEP file, the delineation. Excuse me, here we go. I make a motion to extend the order of resource area delineation for 3 years to April 16th, which is 2024. And this is for DEP file 1371450.
Yeah, one question on that, Delia, should that date be slightly revised?
So, yep, I'm sorry, that was a typo in there. That should be April 23rd, which is when we will issue the permit. So this Friday.
Okay. I amend my motion that the date that it'll be extended to is April 23rd, 2024.
Second.
Okay, Nick?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for your time, Delia. Thank you for your help. And
Always. Yeah. Thanks.
we're not coming back for another extension for sure.
All right. All right, moving on to other business. I think first up is 177 Barnes Hill Road restoration plan. Scott, will you be speaking to that?
Yes, I will be. Hello, how are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. The last time we had a meeting was on March 17th. Just right after that, there was the enforcement order was issued on the 22nd. We did some further evaluation of some of the soils out there. Then on April 6th, I submitted the wetland impact analysis with restoration recommendations, and then sent out the abutter notification for this meeting. And then just yesterday, we had a field meeting with Delia to review the conditions out there with this plan that you have, you're looking at now. And then just a last update, I submitted a turtle protection plan to the Natural Heritage Program today and CC'd Delia on that as well. So to sum it up, the red shaded area you see in the middle of this is our estimate of where the stone was placed in 2016 based on the aerial photos. The red line outlines it all, and then the cross-hatched area is within where, after digging through the stone and trying to figure out where the wetlands used to be, we think the wetland boundary, yeah, that's the impact area right there. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less, probably a little bit more to the left of your screen as you're looking. So what we're proposing to do is dig it out with a small machine and sift out the soil, hopefully get the stones, pile those up and remove those from the site, and then put the soil back. If we need more topsoil, we can get that and make sure it's clean, free of seeds or composted appropriately, before matching the grades to what's there now. On the left-hand side, as you're looking at the image, we'll try to match it in with that, and then put down a native seed mix that's appropriate for pastures and wet pastures, seasonally wet pastures. There'd be erosion control placed at the limit of work before we start working, and importantly, have me or someone from Oxbow on the site to during the work, which we only think will take a day or two to actually remove the material, and then we can report that report what we find and what we did to the NRC. And once it's actually growing and stabilized, we can remove the erosion control barriers and submit a final report with some photographs. But we hope that would be by sometime in the middle of the summer, because the only thing holding us up now is, number one, this meeting to get your approval, but number two, waiting for things to dry out a little bit more. It's still quite saturated in the work area there. I think that sums it up. I'm here for any questions and to move this along.
Okay, thank you, Scott. And again, the only question I had is when the work was going to begin. So I guess you just have to wait for I guess, is it the response from on the turtle submittal in terms of, would that hold you up, or is it just the weather in terms of the wet?
We'll probably get a response from Natural Heritage sooner than it'll be dried out.
Okay. But
based on the rain that we got the last few days, and then a little bit more is predicted for this weekend, I believe, too.
Okay. Yeah, just so I appreciate you making the statement, getting on it as soon as you can.
Yeah.
And
in talking to Delia, I think she wanted to set a deadline, I think for the end of June, which I don't think it'll be a problem. And so there might be some conditions that you talk about specific to that. And if for some reason, it's wet at that point, then we'll deal with it that way. But I don't think that'll be a problem.
Okay, fair enough. Deal, are you good with that, end of June as a deadline?
So yes, I think that would be good to include something along the lines of, end of June. And if there's any, weather conditions that might make that challenging, that, we work that out, with approval of the Natural Resources Director.
Sure. Makes sense.
That's a question, Ed. So I can't remember if this is actually in the details that Scott put in, but is there any heavy equipment coming in? Do we have to specify, where it's going and that sort of thing? Is that in the plan? I can't remember.
Yeah, there won't be much. I mean, heavy equipment, a skid steer, so a small track vehicle, but it'll access just like the tractor does from the other end of the field, where it's more solid ground, and then can stay along the higher ground to access the work area.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other comments from the commission? All right. Any public comment on the restoration plan? All right.
I would like to say,
yes, Scott.
I did talk to Mr. Johnson today. He is anxious to move forward with this as soon as it dries out. And he had been advised from his attorney not to attend the meeting. So that's the only reason why he's not here.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think we have a recommendation.
I move to approve the restoration plan as proposed and incorporate any conditions imposed by the Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program.
Second.
There are those second.
Yes.
Sorry, there was something, I don't have it in front of me, but there was an email that I sent out later in the day that had a few different conditions to incorporate into that pre-construction site visit prior to work occurring, to review the erosion controls, the turtle protection plan needing approval from Heritage, any conditions of theirs being incorporated, and spot shot elevations of the adjacent wetlands to be taken prior, and then post spot shot elevations of the final grade of the restoration area. And then just lastly, that all work be completed during this growing season.
I amend my motion to include about 99% of what I missed in the original.
Fair enough. All right. With that, we'll take the vote. Sarah,
Aye.
Judy,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you wrapping that up.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'll call you back. I'm on a Zoom.
All right.
Okay, bye.
I think we have the, oh yeah, so this is a right of first refusal. Delia, you want to walk us through that?
I see we have Tom Falwell here, so would be great to hear from Mr. Falwell. If you could
Okay.
just briefly give a synopsis of this.
Well, it's relatively straightforward. The property has been in 61A for some period of time. It's under agreement for sale to, I actually do not represent the landowner. Randy Barron does, but he couldn't make it tonight, but I represented Mark White, who is the purchaser under agreement. It's fairly straightforward. Parcel Y1 that shows on the right side, that where the cursor is, that's the dividing line, will be divided under an A&R plan into several lots, and the intention is to build single-family residences on them. So it's fairly straightforward.
Okay, thank you. Any observations, comments from the commission on this?
So they're splitting off this lot and it's under 61A conservation.
Okay. Any comments from the public on this? Okay. Hearing none, let's see. I think we have a, yeah. So I guess, Delia, with that, I guess it's the NRC's position, right, to inform the select board of not exercising the right of first refusal on the property from the NRC side. You muted?
Sorry.
Okay.
It would be your recommendation to not exercise the town's right of first refusal on this property.
Yeah.
And state it for the reasons, so what we looked at from a staff side was that it was not identified in the open space and recreation plan as a property of conservation interest. It's not adjacent to any other town protected conservation lands. The Gifford land is across the road. It is not mapped as rare species habitat. So I think for those reasons and any others that the commission would want to consider, that it's not recommended to exercise the right of first refusal.
Okay. Could I have a motion on that?
I make a motion that the Natural Resource Commission vote not to recommend the town purchase this property.
In a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sarah. And the vote. Judy?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. All right. And
Thank you very much for your time.
we've got a couple of these certifications up next. Delia?
You're muted.
Delia, you want to walk through the emergency certs?
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought we were on administrative approvals. I apologize.
Not
Give
at
me
all.
1 second to pull that up.
Yeah, take your
very
time.
quickly here.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one,
Yeah,
This
yeah, there's an admin.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Do you want the emergency certifications? Yes. Okay. So
No, we can do, if you're on admins, you can do admins if you want.
I'm actually, I'm going to do a little bit out of order, but this is the Monument Street right-of-way emergency certification. So this is the culvert that conveys Sawmill Brook from Punkatasset under Monument Street, heading sort of in the direction, well, eventually discharging to the Concord River. This is the downstream side of that culvert. You can see it's an old stone box culvert. It's about 15 feet down. There is flow that is continuing through here.
I'm looking at a generator or something.
Yeah, I've got.
Oh,
the,
oh
I've
my
got the-
goodness.
I've got.
Okay,
the,
trying, I'm sorry, trying
no
again.
problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you
I'm
see a stone retaining wall and a
Yes.
box? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Sorry.
makes more sense.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
So this is the downstream side of Sawmill Brook as it flows underneath Monument Street. I'm going to go to the next. Tell me what. Nope.
There you go.
We have to stop share. This is the upstream side. So this is the upstream side of that culvert that
Backed up.
the culvert is right here, and I would say there's blockage. This is probably 15 feet deep.
Yeah.
So this is property of Ellen Emerson and Bruce Kohler that is flooded. It is compromising the roadway culvert itself. We had Mike Callahan come out and take a look at it. He can
Where we saw the turtle.
put in a beaver deceiver here once the culvert has been opened up. So Public Works is proposing to jet the culvert to remove the upstream debris. And then we will have Mike Callahan install a beaver deceiver. So that's that emergency certification. And then the second one is for, I'm just going to show you, this is a photograph of Ellen's property. This is old pine trees and
Jeez,
yeah, I mean, it's
crazy. I went by there yesterday. It was, you recommended I go by. It was amazing.
It is, right. So in the next couple of days, you can go out there and see, I mean, this incredible sawmill lake now.
Yeah.
But fortunately, it is a place that beaver deceiver can be installed. So that is encouraging. So that was that first.
Delia? So
Yes.
what the emergency certification is only to breach the dam, not to put in a beaver deceiver?
So this is for, this is the Monument Street right of way, and it is to put in both to breach the dam and put in the beaver deceiver.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got them confused.
I took them out of order, Judy. I apologize.
No, it's my fault. I should have read more carefully. Thank you.
The one for 180 Cambridge Turnpike, which my photographs, I apologize. I can't, it's not up and I'm not going to go looking for it right now. That is a dam that spans at least 200 feet behind 180 Cambridge Turnpike. We also had Mike Callahan take a look at that last year. It is not a place that he would be able to put in a beaver deceiver. So unfortunately, that one will just be breached and the beavers will be trapped out of there. This also happened last fall. You might recall there was also a certification for that beaver dam breach there. So we always want to have those beaver deceivers installed where possible, and unfortunately, this is not one. So what I hope that the commission will do is ratify those two emergency certifications that were issued. And if there are any questions, let me know.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. And commissioners?
I have maybe where if we put in all these beaver deceivers, where do the beavers go?
They stay. So this is the beauty of the beaver deceivers is that they stay right there. So what the beaver deceiver allows is sort of this win-win situation where there is enough water. They don't need 15 feet depth. They need 4 feet. So a beaver deceiver, where it can be put in, allows the water level to be lowered so that it doesn't cause trail flooding or septic system, encroachment, or, any of these issues, or, culvert, roadway culvert compromise. It goes down. They can live in 4 feet of water perfectly happy. They're cued by the sound of running water. So they'll continue to dam until they don't hear that sound anymore. So the beaver deceiver allows that compromise to be accomplished.
Okay.
So like at Punkatasset, there's a spillway that is put around, there's a fencing put around the spillway.
Mhm.
And there's a pipe, an inlet pipe that goes from that spillway and extends up gradient into the pond itself, maybe 30 feet, that you can't see. And there's a basket around that pipe. So that basket allows the water to flow through that pipe and through the culverts without the ability for the beavers to dam it up. So they cannot get at the inlet pipe because it's protected by that basket. So they can dam up the overflow all they want at the spillway. And they do, as anybody who walks through Punk can see, that around the culvert, it's dammed.
Yeah.
And that's fine because the inlet pipe is set at an elevation that allows that to be just a harmonious balance.
Okay, great, thank you.
So, yeah. Sorry for the long explanation, but I think it's cool.
No, thank you. I wasn't really sure how it worked, so that's very helpful.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see. I guess any public comment on this? 2 emergency certs. All right.
I make a motion to ratify both of these 180 Cambridge Turnpike and the Monument Street right of way.
Thanks, Greg.
Second.
Thank you, Judy. Sarah?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Sarah? Excuse me, Judy?
Aye.
And Greg?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. All right, so now I think the next up is close and issue. I think we have 3 decisions ahead of us.
Beautiful.
The first one is Westchester Company, Lot 2A, Cuca Road, CWB file 20-1. Do we have, I think we have that order of conditions.
Oh, I had it up, but now I've lost it
Yeah, I'm looking for it too.
I don't know if you guys know, but
I found it.
good, okay.
Thank you, Judy.
I'm unmuted, right?
Yeah, you're
it must
good.
be. Okay, I make a motion to issue an order of conditions for CWB file number 20-1 for 2A Cuca Road with
We've
finding
got a hand up.
A.
We've got a hand up.
Yes. Excuse
So I'm
me,
sorry.
Judy.
I'm sorry. Can just, Judy, if you want to make the motion
Yeah, and then
and
we'll,
then
fine.
open it up for discussion after the motion is made.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
great. All right, with finding A. And we have, says therefore, under the order conditions issued under CWB file number 20-1, the commission hereby finds that in addition to standard Mass DEP condition 1 through 19 above, the following special conditions are necessary in accordance with the performance standards set forth in regulations to protect the interests checked above. So we have special conditions 20 through, scroll down to the bottom. 62. Yeah.
Second.
Thank you, Greg. Go ahead, Mark.
I haven't seen the order, so if there's anything special in the order that Delia that's not your standard conditions, if are you able to just show that on the screen just so I can glance through it? I'm sure there's
We
nothing
sent that
there.
to Steve Marsh earlier today.
Okay, did he respond that he got that?
He did respond. He had a question about special condition 22, which
Okay.
reads, construction access is permitted along McCallor Lane, formerly known as Cuca, once the definitive subdivision approval issued for the 4-lot subdivision and it should say is approved. So no construction or vehicular access from the paved portion of Cuca is permitted without review and approval from the NRC. And that
So,
was just
Okay,
to
that sounds,
ensure,
that
so that was
sounds,
just to
Yeah.
ensure that, there has been vehicular access over the unpaved portion of Cuca Road coming off the paved portion of Cuca, which is through the buffer zone and hasn't been part of the permitting discussion. So, our understanding is that when this goes to construction, it's going to be off the subdivision road to construct.
correct, and that language sounds okay. I we understand the commission wants to acknowledge, make sure that all other permits are in place, or either that the departments acknowledge that they don't need a permit, whatever situation it is that happens in all the, that's perfectly fine. So as long as Steve got that and reviewed it, I just wanted to make sure that he's happy. And again, if there's any other questions the commission has about the plan, I'm here.
Thank you, Mark. I think we're all set at this point. So if we could take the vote.
One
Greg?
second.
Oh, excuse
One
me.
second, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Special condition 22, at the end of the first sentence, should say is approved. That should be added into the language.
Okay. I amend my motion to include in special condition number 2, at the end
22.
of the
22.
first sentence, it states is approved.
Great.
Thank you, Judy.
You're welcome.
And I'm sorry, you just need a second on that, Ed.
Second.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, with that, we will take the vote. Greg?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Yes, you too. 23 Corner Street, DEP file number 137-1550.
Okay. I make a motion to issue an order of conditions for DEP file 137-1550, 23 Warner Street, with finding A, standard conditions 1 through 19, special conditions 20 through 56.
Second.
Thank you, Greg. Let's see, and we'll take the vote. Judy?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. And the last one, 1400 Lowell Road, DEP file number 137-1545. Judy, you taking that on as well?
I have to find, if somebody else has it, please do it.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't go get it because I thought you had it.
I've got it. I've got it.
Okay, Nick.
Go, Nick.
I move that we close and issue an order of conditions for DEP file number
1545, 137.
137-1545 with findings A through D, standard conditions 1 through 19, and special conditions 20 through 65.
Second.
All right, and the vote. Sarah?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Steve, I see you out there.
Yeah, thanks. I did have a couple of questions about the order of conditions and was hoping to discuss tonight.
Please, please.
Again, thanks for all the hard work on this. Just some wording, and I think most of this might be administrative, but under the findings in C, the monitoring protocol that is mentioned for the life of the fields is also referenced again in special condition 22, and it's the 5-year plan. So again, just, I don't know if that needs to speak to one another. Again, understanding that the monitoring protocol is to document no harm to the wetland. So I think it's the same. I believe it's the same, but I just wanted to the monitoring protocol is called for 5 years, not for the life of the field. Per
Yep.
ODM.
So, and I apologize. I think that what was emailed out was actually the incorrect version. So I am sorry about that. I'm going to see if I can pull that up right now. It's going to take me a minute because I have to get in over the network. So just bear with me. Maybe Colleen, if you want to jump onto the administrative approvals while let me just get those up.
What do you have, Colleen? We'll come back, Steve. Thank you for putting those up.
Yeah, sure. So the first one is the CPW Water and Sewer Division is requesting approval for replacement of the 4 wooden posts and 1 wooden barrier within the 100-foot buffer zone in the inner Riparian area to Mill Brook. The location is pretty much at the intersection of Laurel Street and Walden Street. And I don't know if you guys remember that transformer picture that came up before.
We saw it.
Yeah, so that's the actual administrative approval. And in addition to the wooden post structure and barrier, they're looking to do replacement plantings of 12 shrubs that are existing there that are in kind of rough shape. And they would probably replace with salt tolerant shrubs, ranging, from like pasture rose or red chokeberry or sweet pepper bush. But that's to be determined.
Okay.
Yeah, question I had on that one, it looked like from the wooden posts that they found that, was it from rot or was it from being hit by snow plows?
It's a good question. I'm assuming it might be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like my mailbox.
Primarily
but-
from rot, whether they would
Yeah.
consider putting in like stone pillars that might be more durable and consequently long-term have less disruption to the wetland or the buffer zone over time.
Interesting suggestion. I don't know if Delia, you usually recommend something different, but
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Judy, that recommendation?
Yeah, I was suggesting that if the reason they fell over, that if rot of the wood was a significant contributor to the fact that they fell over, would they consider putting like stone pillars in? That might be more durable and then consequently over time, less disruptive to the border, to the wetlands.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we could make that suggestion to them. I'm sure it's a matter of cost. Putting in these 4x4 posts is.
Yeah,
sure.
I appreciate that too. Just a suggestion.
Although we could take those bollards that are coming out of the other side of.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there we go. That's sustainable. Yeah, reuse.
Stick them over here. They're so ugly though. I don't know that I'd want to see them reused.
But it's not in your property.
Yes, Sarah.
I had a question about the shrubs. So the shrubs that were there before, were just not suitable to the conditions, so they need to be replaced with ones that will be, hopefully?
I think it might have been just the species wasn't right, but then also they were kind of over managed. I don't know, they looked like they were trimmed back quite a few times. Maybe
Oh,
not.
okay.
Yeah.
But
There you go.
yeah.
Okay.
I would suggest you probably get 25 to 35 years out of the wooden posts and the expense, given the fact we're going to buy a $100 million middle school. I vote for wooden posts.
Okay, well, that's good perspective. I didn't realize that the wooden post would last that long.
We could leave it at their discretion. I assume stone or wood. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be in the same placement. So
Do we need a motion on this?
I don't believe we need these on admins. Okay. All right, Colin, you want to keep going on this to finish these up?
So we could, I'm gonna pull up the specials just because we have applicants here, if you want to jump over
sure.
to those.
Okay,
And I
fine.
apologize, I wasn't ready.
No
for that.
problem. You ready to go?
Yep. So this is the red line version, and I just emailed that to everybody. and to you, Steve, and Ryan. So we did just this afternoon make these revisions that it is taking out for the life of the field. So that ties in with the condition, I think, Steve, that you were mentioning. And also to include heavy metals, which I think you guys had agreed to sampling for before. The ones that, so what we included here was zinc, copper, cobalt, and selenium as heavy metals. And that was just based on that EPA study that referenced those. Any input on that is appreciated.
Yeah,
Go
so,
ahead, Ryan, thanks.
yeah, no problem. Marie is on vacation, so we really would like to verify the constituents that are being tested for. You know, there was the document that she had provided a while back that briefed over all of the different constituents. And that was part of the record. That was the risk evaluation of ecofill and analysis recommendation.
Right, and in that she proposed to monitor only SVOCs.
Right. So beyond that, there was just a couple of new ones that popped up that were, I'm just curious of where
So
those.
why don't, if I think what you're suggesting is to run this by Marie when she's back from vacation, which I think is a great idea.
Yep.
And then this can be put on the May 6th, Karen, 7th agenda. And we can revisit it at that time.
Sure.
May I make a suggestion when you ask Marie to comment on this? Because I don't have the information right in front of me, but I do realize that when one tests materials, you know, like the ecofield, et cetera, analytically, it can be somewhat confounding as you try to extract those from the materials and then test, which could be very different than testing water, which is what we're doing here, which tends to be a very clean item to test. So I'd like to understand, while the test of the materials may show nothing, how does that compare to what potentially could be leached out? So I'm concerned about background information interfering with tests of non-water substrates.
Okay, yeah, we have Kevin McKinnon on staff as well, who does a lot of the physical testing and analyzes lab results as well. So between the two of them, we could come up with the answer.
Okay, yeah, it should come forward in terms of, I would think, lower detection limits, and also would come forward in terms of also what your standard deviations might be, but particularly the lower detection limits on the specific materials being tested, like the fill, the carpet, et cetera.
Yeah. Sure. If it would be helpful if you could, you know, put that into written words rather than me translate what and scribbling down what you've just said.
Okay.
Then we'll get the clear answer that you need.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, there were just
one other thing that I know Ryan's going to touch on with regard to the mitigation in the timeline set forth in the order. Typically, we're used to it starting with construction schedules and not issuance of order of conditions. So understanding it's a 3-year permit, would like to tie all work to one work schedule as opposed to first growing season at the issuance of this order of condition.
That's standard. That's been in all of your permits for at least the past 5 years. Are you not planning to go to construction this season?
No, I mean, I feel like we're up upon the growing season, Delia, and without the issuance, so that's all. I worry about it pushing out again.
You mean missing the ability to, in Steve, you mean the time's upon us now in terms of the growing season? Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, so presumably you would do the invasive species removal in the fall and then replanting in the fall as well. Do you see that as being an issue?
No, the way it's worded, I want to make sure it's doable. So I'm happy with the fall, and we typically would work with you anyway, so.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems like we'll have Steve, you'll have some time to discuss that with Delia if you'd like, just to make sure it meshes with your,
Best
research.
practices.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So go ahead, Ryan.
Just the other clarification too is number 63. I'm looking at the old one and I don't know if that was revised in the new one. I'll just scroll down really quick.
Ryan, it's up on the screen.
Yeah, that's different. So it's the one that starts with during all phases of construction, all disturbed or exposed soil surfaces. Okay, so it became 62. So just wording of that, all exposed soil surfaces shall be brought to final finish grade and stabilized within 30 days. So based on the construction, establishing finished grade within 30 days is not practical. So maybe just some wording that might read, once final finished grade is established, then exposed soil surfaces shall be stabilized within 30 days.
So this is really just when during construction, we don't like to see big exposed stockpiles that are not protected by some sort of means that they don't wash into, wetlands. So.
Sure.
So it says that if you can't stabilize bare ground within
means
30
what-
days, that you put down some mulch or other covering.
Yeah, the point is you start counting from when you disturb, not from the beginning of the project.
Right.
Sure.
So Ryan, are you concerned are you talking about the actual work zone, the fields themselves that are, being
Yeah,
built
like
up and
I
exposed and for longer durations?
Right, exactly. So finished grade really is the top, in the turf fields is the top of the infill. So just a standard construction practices is the stockpile is you strip the soil off and you stockpile and you protect.
So can I recommend, Ryan, that you send me some adjusted language and I will incorporate that and then send it back out to the commission to review?
Yep, that sounds great.
Great, thanks.
Do you have any other conditions, Ryan or Steve, that you'd like to discuss?
I will review the red lines, but
Okay.
again, I think those are our big our questions, and thanks for getting those to us today. And again, thanks for all the time. So,
Well, apologize for the confusion. It's a long project, a lot of conditions, and I'm glad you were here to help sort it out. So we'll hold it over, get some commentary back to Delia, and we'll get it set for next meeting.
okay, thank you.
Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we're back on administrative approvals.
Okay, on to
Newbury Court.
Yep, I'm there's so many things open right now. Let me see if I can find the PDFs that I need to look at versus the photos. Okay, so this is, darn it. Give me 1 second. I don't, okay, so I'm sorry, I don't have this up. Jim Breslauer from Newbury Court would like to install about a 400-foot long section of trail, primarily in the 25-foot no disturb zone. It would just be a 3-foot wide unpaved path, except for one portion that goes through wetlands that would require 2 boardwalks. And it is basically to allow the residents of Newbury Court to walk along the edge of the property and do a loop. And it would just go, so it's between the Newbury Court property and the Deaconess, the Water and Sewer Department property. And this is something that we would, you know, from a trails perspective, we would do these sorts of things all the time. So, but because it is through wetlands, I wanted to make sure that the commission was on board with what is being proposed. There's no tree removal that's associated with it. There might be some minor brush cutting, but the only surface treatment would be to put in a couple of boardwalks. And I think it'd be a really nice amenity for the Newbury Court residents.
Sure. All right. No issue here. And Delia, you know the site. You've seen the conditions out there, so you're all set.
Yeah, so actually Will Holden, our new land manager, went out and walked it with Jim Breslauer, and I think he is on the call. Jim, if you want to jump in and give any thoughts, please feel free to do so.
Sure, thanks, Delia. Yeah, this goes along the toe slope along the south entrance to Newbury Court. We keep it right against the slope. There's probably, I don't know, maybe a 10-foot area that's actually wet. The rest of it is above the wetlands and not into it. And all I do is clear some underbrush so people can, you know, do a complete loop outside of Newbury Court instead of having to walk through the building itself to get around it. I don't think there'll be that many people using it because there are a couple of fairly steep inclines. So nobody with mobility impairments would really be able to use this portion of the trail, of a path.
Thanks, Jim. Nick, you got a question?
Yeah, let's see. This goes through the 25-foot and the wetlands itself, but on a boardwalk. Now, I just want to make sure I understand the rationale. We wouldn't normally approve something like this, but we're weighing against the community benefit for the elderly residents.
We normally would. We do. Yeah, we do this all the time. All our trails are, you know, they're through uplands, wetlands, floodplain, 25-foot no disturb zone wetland. So this is something that.
But just to say it more generally, then it's the community benefit is the reason we allow it in general, but just for my own edification. I'm not opposed to it. I just want to understand our rationale and put it on the record. That's all.
I think you could, yes, you could definitely look at it like that. I mean, to have a walking, personally, I mean, I don't think it's a problem to walk through wetlands. To have a 3-foot wide trail through wetlands themselves is not, in my opinion, an alteration if you're not, you know, taking out trees and making it something that's, you know, a very altered condition. So yeah, I mean, I think you could say it's a minimal, you know, disturbance to the wetlands, and there's, you know, a community benefit to it as well.
So is the trail open to the public?
It's private property, so I don't think that it is, but it's adjacent to, let me get this back up here. So we don't have property lines on this, but you know, here's Ornac here. This is Newbury Court. The golf course is over here. The water department, this is the Sudbury River here, floodplain. But down in this location here is the or sorry, this location here is the Deaconess Well. And from this point, it's, you know, somewhere in here off the map is public property. And then we've got trails that go from the Deaconess Well. They cross over publicly accessible conservation restrictions, connecting into Madison Fields. So there's a very nice, you know, length of trail, crosses over and then hits land trust property, the Hosmer land, and through the, you know, skirting the golf course. So this particular trail at Newberry Field is not public, but there's, you know, it connects into public access trails.
So we would consider this sort of thing if a private landowner came in and just did it for their own, wanted to do it for their own benefit?
Mhm.
Okay, that's all.
Yep.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, that sounds good. And we got one more to go.
Okay, the next one is a hazard red oak at 150 Garfield Road. And let's see, this is the red oak here. I don't know if you recall, this is the property that was a demo and rebuilds 4 or 5 years ago. And I believe it was the contractor who just stuck these rocks around the base of this tree, which essentially killed it. So there's, Will went out to take a look at that. There's significant crown dieback and rot associated with it. So we're recommending, it's right on the 50-foot no build zone. We're recommending that that be removed. It just came in today. So none of us have talked with the applicant about whether or not anything would be replaced. But as it was at one point, you know, in the recent past, a healthy tree, I think it would be reasonable for the commission to request a native tree be replanted in the vicinity of that tree to be removed.
Yeah, I'd agree. That makes sense, Delia. Any other comments from the commission on that?
I agree with that.
Okay.
And this is just the location of that there
Thank
at the
you.
50. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Delia.
You bet.
All right. And do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right. And
Seconded.
second, and a quick vote. Nick? Greg?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
And Judy?
Aye.
Aye as well.
Thank
Thank
you
you all.
Bye, everyone.
Have a
Good
good
night.
evening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Delia.